Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel and episode, I don't know, I've lost count now. We must be on like 10 or 11, something like that. Anyway, today's a really big day. I've got my sheets of 18mm sterling board and they're going to go up onto the roof, onto the furring pieces that we did in the last episode. Going to try and get the roof covering on today as well, which is a rubber membrane. It looks fairly easy to install. In the past I've installed fiberglass roofs, and they are quite tricky, just with timings and everything, but this looks really simple. And what I want to do today is get the sterling board on, get it all screwed down securely, and then get the rubber membrane and get it on and get it adhered to the sterling board on the top. I'm not going to do the drips, like the bits around the side and the fascias or anything like that. I'm going to leave that for another day. This is going to be quite a tough day to get all of this done before it gets dark, so I'm just going to get on with it. Let's go. So if you're like me and you have to rip any ply or sterling down sort of the full length of the sheet, then if you haven't got one of those cool little saw guides, I'm not really sure what they're called, I've never used one, that you can put on it and it holds your saw in the right place and you just straight along, then the best thing to do is get a couple of clamps and a long piece of wood, and mark your distance that you want to cut the bit of wood, and then work out, have a look at your skill saw and have a look at the distance between the edge of your guide and the blade. Now on mine it's about 30mm. So then what I do, depending on which way I'm cutting, I have my mark, and then on the bit of wood that I'm keeping, I put the wood 30mm away from my mark, so that I can then clamp that into position and then just run the skill saw along it, and it works in exactly the same way as that fancy saw holder guide thing. But obviously you haven't got to buy one, and if you're building a shed like this, you're going to have loads of timber lying around, so you might as well make use of what you've got. So let's just have a quick look at that. And there you have a really nice straight cut. Excellent. Okay, so the roof is now all screwed in and the sun's come out, which is a really nice treat, because now I've got to just run round the edge of the roof with my trimming router just to make sure it's all nice and flush with the edges, and then it'll be a case of getting the rubber up here, laying it out, and start the process of roofing. So obviously I had a lot of help. My son helped me out a lot with screwing this down, which made it a lot easier, and yeah, it's gone down really nicely. I've used 40mm screws, just those same ones I used on the ply on the floor. It's really solid, looks pretty flat. Stoked. Right, let's get on with the bits and pieces. Okay, so I'm now set up with my router with a trim bit in there, so I'm just going to work that around the perimeter of the shed just so that everything is nice and straight and flat, and then have a sweep off and get the rubber up here to start laying the roof. Let's go. Okay, so there we have it. We've got the roof down, and the GoPro died halfway through the main coat, but it was really quite straightforward, just using a normal roller and just rolling it on. It was water based, so it felt very much like paint, so you just put that on and then slowly push the membrane back over it and sweep it with the brush just to get any air bubbles out. So that was really easy, and then you go around the edge in the 100mm gap that we left with the epoxy, and because of the size of the shed, by the time I'd got to the end it was pretty tacky, so we kind of started going back over it, and we used a little wallpaper roller just to kind of get any of the last air bubbles out and make sure it was all really stuck down. So super happy with it. There are a few little imperfections, lumps and bumps where the membrane has come folded. There's a few lumps in it that we just couldn't get out, but by the time, you know, no one's ever really going to see it down here anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And I think we're going to put a green roof on this anyway, so it will be completely hidden. Yeah, so the shed's now finally waterproof. Very happy about that. And it was actually way easier laying this type of roof than it was any of the others, so I would definitely recommend using this over fiberglass for sure. So thanks for watching. Come back next week where we will start doing either the cladding or the doors, depending on what turns up first. Subscribe, like, any comments, leave them below and I'll do my best to answer. And thanks for watching. Peace.